What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. Well, I'm excited and wanted to make a video about it. I just made a huge order on Amazon, guys. So I've kind of been waiting, and I've talked to several people about potentially buying something during this time when all these sales are going on. Sure enough, guys, I popped into I'm really looking for a deal on that Wave 2 with the add-on battery, but it seems like they're not going to put that on a better deal. So but anyway, I was looking at it and mad dogging all these sites looking at sales, and I went and looked at my Amazon list. I have several Amazon lists for all this stuff, and a bunch of stuff in the solar list was on sale, and I mean, I saved about $500, and you know what would have cost me $3,100 or something cost me like $2,700. Yeah, so I couldn't pass it up. Like, it was too good of a deal, and I still found myself kind of floundering on a couple of products. Should I get this? Should I get this? And finally I just said, fuck it. I've researched enough. They all work together, and I pulled the trigger. It saved me a bunch of money. So what all did I get? Nobody wants to hear me talk about this stuff, you know what I mean? None of my friends. So here I am talking to the camera. I got a Victron 15060 charge controller, the MC4 version, so you can plug the panels, normal panel wires, just right into it. I got the 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter charger from Renogy. It was on a pretty massive sale. I got that charge controller. I saved like $100 and something on that. So yeah, and then I got the 60 amp DC to DC charger, so that'll charge the batteries from the alternator at around 700 watts. The inverter charger, you can plug that into a wall or in a generator, and it'll charge it also at about 700 watts. And then of course 800 watts of solar panel will be going on the top. So I got the charge controller, the inverter charger, DC to DC charger, and then I got the smart shunt, and I got shutoffs for both the battery bank and the solar, with an extra one on the solar. It's got 2 inputs, so later on I can hook that to another charge controller and have an exterior like a folding panel or something. Thinking ahead on a little bit of expansion there. And so now pretty much all I have to do is, and I also got an electric blanket for a battery compartment, and I got a 400 amp hour battery. So I just went ahead and pulled the trigger on the one I've been looking at. It's got low temperature cutoff protection. It's a EnjoyBot 400 amp hour, 12.6 volts or whatever it is. So it's 5,000 watts. It's 5,000 watt hours, and that's a lot. I was wanting to go higher than that, and I almost pulled the trigger on 280 amp hours, which would have got me 7,000 watts. But I can only charge back, you know, I can charge back 400 amp hours a day, but from driving and solar. So probably more like, I can't even really charge that up. I mean, I have to run the engines and do some supplementary stuff to get that full amount charged up in a day. So I'm stoked, guys. Really, now all I got to do is I'm gonna have to figure out. I may be going with the Victron. What's it called? The Lynx distributor, and it's expensive, and I could just get bus bars and stuff cheaper, but I do like that it like fits fuses inside of there, so you can get the correct fuses for each of those things. Because and I know a lot of you people don't know what I'm talking about, but you have to connect all these devices together somewhere, and where you do that requires like bus bars and fuses, and in a house there's pre-made panels and you use sort of standard stuff, but in a van There's going to be different sizes of wires, and you know, they all need something really solid to connect to. So you put the shunt after the battery before it gets to a bus bar, and then you bring the positive to a bus bar, and then all your things like your charge controller and your DC to DC charger and your inverter, everything hooks on to those bus bars. It makes them all one system. So the Lynx distributor is like really nice, and it's got a cap, and it's got holds fuses inside, but it's like $200 and something. And yeah, I may go ahead and break down and buy it, just because I don't know that I want to have a bunch of open bus bars, and I don't know. I just like that it makes the fusing really easy. Problem is, it's only got just enough to put all my devices in. It's got, you know, the ends go to the battery, and then you have 4 slots inside of it. So you know, that would be enough for a charge controller, an inverter charger, a DC to DC charger, and one more thing. So yeah, I mean, it's expensive, but it sure does make it all real easy, and it's got a nice cover on it and everything. So I didn't pull the trigger on it because I'm still back and forth over whether to do that or to find some other system to use. I'm just excited about it. Of course, this time when it goes in, I won't mess with any of that, because it's going to be mechanic time. And I mean, there's even the possibility that I might, you know, still want some stuff done and take it to a mechanic again. If we don't get the air conditioning done, then I kind of need to get that done, because where I'm planning on putting the air conditioning and most likely the electrical system in the back on the driver's side, that is right in front of the rear air conditioning stuff. So I kind of need to get, if I'm going to get lines replaced, I need to get that done first before I go building a box in there and everything. Yeah, so there's still quite a bit to figure out, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of work to be done. And I'm going to have a second set of hands when we do the solar panels. I've been visualizing them, and you know, originally I wanted to put 3 of them, like with the long side with the vehicle, so I could get 3 of them on there. But it's a lot. It's going to be sticking out past the sides of the van a little bit on the top, and it's just not gonna look right. And I really don't need more than 800. So this saves me having to buy another charge controller too, because I was going to have to buy a second charge controller to handle another 400 watt panel. So anyway, I decided to go with 2 400 watt panels. I'm going to get Canadian Solar panels, and they will fit pretty much right on the rack. They may be a little shorter than the rack, but the rack sits quite a bit in from the actual sides of the van, and these panels are going to pretty much lay right in there long ways. And we'll get 2, and that'll be about 11 feet long and about a little less than 4 foot wide, straight up solar panels. It's going to be bitching. I'm looking forward to it, guys. I'm stoked. I'm going to have a hard time after this next time I take off. I'm going to have a hard time wanting to stay out on the road instead of being back there fucking with the solar. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss out on deals on solar panels, because shipping is just too much on stuff like that. There's minimums and all that kind of stuff. Now, you can go to Renogy and buy you some way overpriced 100 watt panels, and you won't fit 8 of them. And yeah, so it's worth it to me. I'll have to drive up there. It's like Sulphur Springs, Texas, and when you go into the shop, there's no minimums. So I'm gonna go in there and potentially get wires and fuses and all that stuff there. They carry, I didn't buy it from them, but they carry the charge controller I got, and they carry the Lynx distributor, so I'm sure they have those fuses and all that. Because I've been unsure about wire, buying any wire over the internet, like I'm not comfortable with it. So yeah, hopefully I can get some good wire while I'm in there as well. We'll see what all they have, but I'm looking forward to it. It could come together really quick if I was there. I can tell you that. But I'm not there, guys, so it's going to take a while. Anyway, I hit a whole bunch of new subscribers recently, and that last video I made kind of blew up. So if you're new here, welcome. I appreciate your support, and hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you on the next one.